The content discussed in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or mortgage advice. Always consult with a licensed professional before making any decisions regarding mortgages or financial matters.
Welcome to the Canadian Mortgage Show. Here are mortgage professionals Alex Pang and Alex Shanks to cut through the BS and educate Canadians on all things mortgages and real estate.
They've always even said, the politicians, is like, we know homes need to be more affordable, but we can't afford to tank the real estate market because too many people have their wealth in real estate. So let's put two and two together. What does that mean? It's just making you be able to borrow more, which means you be indebted for more, longer, and forever. You know, gone are those days where my parents paid off their mortgage at 45, 47. Shoot, that's my age. I'm nowhere close to paying off my mortgage. Welcome to episode 57 of the Canadian Mortgage Show. Alex Pang here alongside my co-host Alex Shanks. Alex, welcome to October.
It is in October. We got sick kids. It is wet. It is rainy, and it's like, okay, I'm ready for a vacation because of this ugly weather.
Oh my goodness, are your kids already sick? Like, is cold and flu season already starting?
Already happened. It's my oldest hasn't been to school yet this week, and obviously we had the holiday here for Truth and Reconciliation, which was great. It was nice to be with the family, but he was sick.
Oh my goodness. I remember the days when my kids are older now, they're teenagers, but Alex, you're in the heart of it. Young kids, they're just a germ pool. Like, they put stuff in their mouth. All their kids, start going to school all coughing and in the air, and they don't know how to, cover up all that stuff. And we know as parents, it'll eventually pass through us, and it'll cycle throughout the family.
Yeah. And that's where, he was yesterday. Like, he wakes up and like, awesome. He wants to snuggle with his younger brother and everything. But it's like, man, you can't be near him. Like, you're just coughing right into his face.
Yeah. We're teaching the kids too, not coughing. Like, they're coughing like this into that. I'm like, no, hand, elbow. And they're coughing. No, right into your mouth. Close it up. I'm like, oh man, it's almost like parents, we have to be pretty militant on it. It's like, hey, this is etiquette, and this is how we got to do stuff. But yeah, I mean, weather is starting to change here in the Lower Mainland, probably the same in the Comox Valley. It's kind of this weird thing where, yes, we need a jacket now, but I don't need to wear a long sleeve under. I could still wear a t-shirt or a polo under. Like, I had a morning meeting today. I wore a long sleeve t-shirt, and I'm like, shoot, this is too hot. So that's why I've changed into a polo shirt for the recording of the pod. Like, are you feeling the same too? Like, kind of that.
Yeah, that's where, like,
I fake fall, it's warm during the, noon, but it's cold in the morning and the late afternoon, all that stuff.
Yeah, like, I walked out the other day going for a bike ride, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of cold. So I put some more warm stuff on. And like 10 minutes into it, I'm like, oh shit, I'm way too hot now.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. It's kind of the layering effect. But yeah, it's kind of like summer is hanging on. We know fall is here, summer's over, but the huge, especially this part of the wet coast, we call it, like when the rain comes, it's like, yep, we'll see you in 6 months kind of thing. But yeah, we have a full show, Alex. I'm going to start us off here. Remember a few weeks ago, we're all talking, even after the Brad West interview, we were saying that us Canadians, in order for us to make housing more affordable, we need to make housing we need to disincentivize it as an investment vehicle, because it was used to create massive wealth, like crazy wealth, making quick bucks over, the last 15, 20 years or so. Well, and it's probably largely the reason to blame for unaffordable housing, because all the money comes in, there's greed, there's everything. Now, OSFI, so it's the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions. That's a huge mouthful.
That's a mouthful, man.
It looks like, so they govern our lending industry.
Well, just banking.
It looks like banking and financial. Yeah, it looks like they're agreeing on what we were saying, and they're looking to make changes. Alex, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, and their changes aren't great, and these are not like locked in stone. They are still talking about them, but we've already been hearing like a year and a half ago, what's going to happen with the stress test? Are the banks going to get rid of it? Well, if they got rid of it, really what they were talking about is doing a loan to income, which doesn't work so great in some cases. And this is where it's going to start affecting people with rental properties or wanting to get rental properties. The mom and pop, well, hey, you buy your house, you live in it, and you want to go maybe turn that into a rental, go buy something else. Well, we had ways to allow to use your personal income and the potential rental income. That's still going to be allowed on the first rental purchase. But what they're talking about is when you go buy a second, a third, they're not going to let us use people's income. Let's say that you make 100,000, we used it on that first rental. Well, now they're not going to potentially be able to use it on the second rental purchase, the third purchase, which is going to diminish people's ability to even buy rental properties. Now, I understand that we do want to de-incentivize this, but at the same time, we're now just going to be giving like all these corporations like rental properties on a platter. It is just going to become a monopoly for them because they get to lend, they get to finance in different ways than me and you do. And so they get to go to a longer amortization. They don't have to even put as much money down. And that's where it's like, hey, we need to look at this stuff in the right way. And hey, someone that owns 20 properties in the personal name, should they be able to buy more? Hey, no. But hey, someone wants to own like 1 or 2 rental properties, and now it's going to be harder than ever to qualify. Is that actually going to benefit anyone? And this is where the banks are reviewing the risk portfolios and everything. And now let's say, Alex, you have a rental property at, say, TD right now. Well, in a year and a half, you may not be able to go take that to another lender. Guess what? TD knows that, hey, this is a rental property. Alex can't take this to any other lender. We know what his income looks like. Oh, I'm gonna bump up that interest rate now. And that's where when we start taking away these things, it ruins competition. And that's what I don't love about it.
Yeah, like real estate investors have been largely blamed for this. And right now it's not great to invest in real estate. But if you look at it from the other side, the demand for real estate also stirs building.
Exactly.
We can see, especially the low rise and high rises, especially Vancouver and Toronto, because the disappearance of the real estate investor, because the numbers don't work.
Yep.
Well, you hear all these projects are failing, and these pre-sales in the late major centers, a lot of them aren't going to complete, or they're going belly up, going to receivership. The small to mid-sized developers are going bankrupt. So it feels like anytime there's any change, there's always a overshoot on anything. It's like a pendulum that swings back and forth, right? Shoot, interest rates are too cheap at 1.5%. We need to jack it up to 6.5%. And now finally it's settled down. It feels like this is like the real estate investor is being scapegoated here, right? We're like, oh, we don't like this. This is what we're going to do. And there's going to be a follow-up because of that. So, I mean,
you're not all of the government OSFI, no one's talking together. One person's coming up with a plan here, being like, I think this is a great idea. They're not thinking of the negative on this side, where really it's like, hey, you tell me what you think, why we think this is better. Hey, it's de-risking the banks, allowing them to maybe send financing. Like right now, if a bank gets $100, they get to spread that out 10 times. Now, what they're trying to do is limit the amount of risk that banks are taking on, because let's say that housing collapses, it drops down by 50%. Well, all these banks have that on their book. And so like OSFI's trying to regulate like the risk on everything, how they send out money. And we got digital currency coming more and more. But at the same side, well, what happens? Like we do have real estate. People need to be able to rent. People need to be able to buy. Now people may not be able to do that.
I can totally see this happening where OSFI is going to overshoot on this regulation. The banks and lenders, they're going to see their volumes drop. And love them or hate them, the banks do have a say. And maybe they'll say, hey, our business is being killed. And they're going to lobby OSFI, and maybe over time they'll loosen up. It's going to hit one way, and then it'll settle back down. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, that's where people like, there's ways like people can buy in holding companies. Like there's going to be strategies and a way around this, but it's only going to be for the sophisticated investor, the people that have this knowledge, where other people that have benefited from buying, like maybe buying a condo, living in it, renting, buying a townhouse, living in it, renting out, like that's gone. Like that is going to be gone based on what they're talking about. Now it's not set in stone. Like this is not like it's not happening tomorrow. But again, do they change some of the stuff they talk about? Not really.
Yeah, I mean, every time they do industry consultations, I bet you they've already made up their mind. They just want to make the appearance that they are consulting the industry and the public. We know very well they've already made up their mind and all that stuff.
Well, Alex, let's go into our next stuff. We got a jam-packed episode here. Now we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's going on in the Canadian economy here, which is showing signs of resilience. I mean, I saw articles saying that recession's not going to happen. I mean, to be honest, we know that we've been in a recession. We can change the numbers, but the GDP is going up by 0.2% in July, and then it was flat in August. Now, I feel like September, personally, based on what I see, it should not be up. It should not even be flat. But again, you never know where they move the numbers. What do they take in? Like that's just where a lot of this stuff can differ.
Yeah, I'm seeing here too that they're saying that this is the Q3 growth is on track, and it's roughly around 0.7% annualized after Q2 contracting. But it is close to the Bank of Canada's 1% forecast. So based on this, they're still estimating maybe at least one cut between October and December announcements. So I haven't checked the latest odds, but a few weeks ago, the odds were at 48% for October cut, which is, hey, it's this month now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I believe I would say December. If it doesn't happen October, I'd say December makes the most sense. But again, it depends on, we saw how quickly it changed the narrative where we're like, hey, we're not getting a cut September, maybe not even October and December. Jobs were gone, inflation. All right, we're having a cut. Like the data can change instantly right now.
Yeah. And now we are kind of aligning back to where the US is in terms of their rate announcements. I've said this before. I mean, we'll talk about it later. Things are kind of imploding in the States as well, but we'll talk about that later. Now, housing prices here, we're going to show you a graph on the YouTube side. They're doing most of the work to improve housing affordability. Yeah, we talk about interest rates being lower than it was during the peak, but you'll see this graph here have like house prices are the major indicator of affordability. Like we talk about like, hey, rates have come down 0.5%, 1%, woohoo. The biggest difference is that $2 million home being 1.5 now, or that 1.5 being 1.2 now. That's a bigger difference on your monthly payment versus like, a 0.5 or 1% difference. So this graph.
Now, the only thing on this, they're doing this on the 25-year amortization, which that is normally for one that's all first-time home buyers. When they're putting less 20%, we're able to get, where we do know we're now able to go to 30 years, which I also believe that has helped affordability. We know that was to help affordability. That's all it did. Does not actually help people financially, but allow them to qualify for higher than what they did before, which is going to be interesting. Like I feel like these numbers are going to start to get skewed when we go back and look at 2025, because it started at 25-year amortizations and then we pushed to 30 years, which so many people are like, oh shit, I qualify for 500. Now I qualify for 580. And it pushed people into higher prices.
Yeah. They've always even said, the politicians, is like, we know homes need to be more affordable, but we can't afford to tank the real estate market because too many people have their wealth in real estate. So let's put 2 and 2 together. What does that mean? It's just making you be able to borrow more, which means you be indebted for more, longer, and forever. Gone are those days where my parents paid off their mortgage at 45, 47. Shoot, that's my age. I'm nowhere close to paying off my mortgage. Like my only hope, like if mom and dad listen to this, I'm sorry, but my only hope is for me to downsize or inheritance when it comes, and it'll flow to us. And then of course we're probably going to have to help the kids out, because no 25 or 30-year-old is going to have $100,000 like down saved up for a $500,000 shoebox in the sky. I tell you that. I think 75 to 80%.
If you move to Calm River, you could sell your place and you be mortgage free. I could tell you.
Oh yeah, sure. Only thing is, there's nothing to do. Amazon Prime is non-existent like it is in Comox, like you said. I've had to buy stuff for you and ship it out to you, and it's faster than you doing it yourself. So yeah, and then of course all that stuff, right? So we jest, but yeah, it's yeah, they're basically just saying it's more affordable because you can borrow more. So it is what
We
it
even
is.
talked about it on a couple episodes. Well, let's go to a 50-year amortization. Let's not talk about 30 years. Let's go to 50. And that's where, like, as prices keep going up and up, that seems to be what our band-aid fix is. Well, we can't bring these prices down. We're just going to make it easier to qualify.
Yeah, I know. Like Dustin Woodhouse he's an industry titan, and I listen to his podcast, read his books, and he's great. I know businesses can, like corporations can do the 50-year. I don't know if the general public would want to. That's a big leap from 30 to 50. Like people are slow to change, and going from 30 to 50 is like, it's almost like government just throwing their hands up. We're like, we can't make homes more affordable without tanking prices. So
The only way that makes is obviously that, hey, if you can cut your, maybe the rent is $3,500, but if you go to that 50-year amortization, you can cut that down to like $2,000. Then it's like, okay, hey, you're really kind of renting 50 years to pay it off. You're really kind of renting. But hey, if you can cut your expenses and go and invest that difference, okay, hey, it could be beneficial. Tell you this, 9 times out of 10, even when I explain to someone, hey, it's cheaper for you to keep renting than buy, it's going to cost you more money, you need to invest that difference, they don't do that. And that's the problem, why homeowners are better off than renters, is because the equity is building up for them automatically. They don't have to remember to do something. Where if you tell someone to go invest money, unless you're pulling it from their hands, they don't do it.
Yeah, unless or they're super disciplined, they go out of the way. They're talking to a financial advisor, and they really need to do this, and it's part of their directive. And yeah, it is hard.
Now that's like, holy smokes. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a pre-construction condo a realtor in Ontario, because oh my God. I mean, there was only 118 sold units in August. I mean, I think there's like 100,000 realtors in Toronto area alone. Like, that is just insane. 90% below the 10-year average. When the market was mostly driven by speculation. And of course the bubble has burst now. That's where, like, these condos are 330 square feet. Like, to me, I was never buying in there. Like, that was FOMO of like, oh, I could buy that, maybe make 50,000 to flip it. It's the same thing as Bitcoin. Yes, I wish I could have gone in last year again and made money. I'm not going to go into something that I can't control the narrative. I'm not going to allow something else to just be controlled by the markets dictating. I want to have control of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does that mean you're never going to invest in the markets? I mean, you can't control anything, right? Like,
I know that. Well, what I mean is, like, I want to have some, like, I want to know, like, my risk reward. Hey, could this go down by 5%? Yes. Could it go up by 5%? I'd rather have a consistent than a home run. That's what I'm looking for.
a lot of people though, they get attached to FOMO because they hear their friend buying a pre-sale, selling it 2 years later, and pocketing 150 grand, right?
Yeah.
So they repeat it, and they do the same thing, and they've repeated those things. And then the FOMO comes around. Oh, I heard this. I heard this. I heard that. And then everyone talks about it on social. Realtors,
Yeah.
some mortgage brokers do it. Some of us have done it. I'm guilty. I've jumped on that bandwagon, and thankfully, well, not thankfully, but thankfully, I sold my place and broke even, because I think I went in late, and like, I sold it last year, broke even. Thank God. I don't think I'll do it again. But yes,
Yeah.
Greed happens on FOMO. The same thing happens in like Bitcoin, like crypto and investments, because stocks are ripping right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when news are good, things are good. But yeah, I mean, just markets go through ups and downs, and try to, it's easy to jump in when you hear the headlines and the hype. Yeah. So
that's why you always want to look back at the data. And this is where, like, for new condos, they remain deeply cash flow negative and will require nearly a 50% run up in rents to get even to cash flow neutral. Like, again, people were banking on these investment properties. For one, I just want to buy it and it's going to make me 100,000. I'll sell it. Or, hey, I'm going to buy it. Interest rates are 2%, and my rent is $3,500. Those were all when interest rates were very low and rents were jacked up. you can't look at an investment that way. You can't look at a short period of time to say, hey, this is how I'm going to make all my money. I don't even like doing how people say, hey, the S&P 500, if you annualize it over 100 years, it's a 10% rate of return. That's too big of a timeline. You want to look in like chunks and like centuries of like, hey, what did the last 10 years do? And that's where people had these goggles on of like, cool, if I could do this for 1 year, I'm going to be rich. It's like, well, that's not going to happen. It's not going to be consistent like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, real estate, rents need to go up 50%. I doubt it. What's probably going to happen is prices are going to have to drop further, which it is slowly happening that way. And yeah, like it looks like maybe we might have to increase demand in order to prop up the rents again. And well, there is no demand right now because the government turned off the taps on immigration. Public outcry, and we've kind of supported as well because they contributed to our housing crisis. To what percentage we can debate about that. I think it's a big part of that, including government policy and stuff. But yeah, that's like we've said this before. It's probably going to suck for a while before it gets better. It's not one of those things where, like, I'm sure, I mean, a global event can happen and all of a sudden it could rebound. But based on the years that Alex and I have been in this industry, it's not gonna correct itself like just by next year. It'll take a few years to turn around on this thing.
That's what I was just going to say. So you just have to look at the numbers. Helping some people buy investment properties right now, it's like, we're not banking on 6% appreciation. We're not banking on crazy high rentals. It's like, hey, you're buying this because you want it for your kids down the road. Hey, even if this thing is negative cash flow, you don't really care because you want that place for your kids. Like, people just need to be looking at their investments in a different way, and you're not going to gain 100,000 a year. Sorry, that's luck.
Yeah. I mean, I talked with some clients who, I'm like, historically in the Greater Vancouver area, Lower Mainland, annual appreciation is 5 to 8%. Well, I'm not saying that's going to happen in the next couple of years. Let's just say even 3%, like even 2%, right? We always make conservative estimates. If real estate stays the same, at least you can bank on mortgage pay down to build equity that way. And that's largely the case in Alberta. Obviously, Greater Vancouver, GTA are more speculative in nature. So we go up, we come down, but the natural progression is up eventually. All right. So the next little bit, we have a huge chunk of time. We're going to talk about foreign students. So the new permits of foreign students had plunged 97% at this college that's notorious for bringing all these temporary foreign students at Conestoga College in Ontario. And they braced for impact. So they recruited more foreign students than any other school between 2022 and 2024. And, they have fewer international students on the horizon. Surprise, surprise, everything's turned off. Now, here's a graph that you'll see on the YouTube side. Now, Conestoga College is no longer number one. It's now U of T, because U of T, obviously probably one of the biggest universities in Canada, and UBC as well. But their numbers have dropped significantly. I mean, back in the peak, these numbers were probably like, 5 to 10,000, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, same thing with Seneca College, like all those schools, especially in the GTA area. Like, there's hundreds of colleges that I call them satellite colleges that were just bringing people in.
Like the diploma mills, right?
Yep. And that's and I mean, rents dropped. Like, you can go to Calgary and you go to Ontario, they dropped 10%. Like, from this, like, it's the data correlates instantly right there. Like, hey, we're not bringing this amount of people in. Holy shit, rents have dropped 10% now.
Yep. This data immediately correlates to these kind of diploma mill colleges taking advantage of the loopholes of our immigration system. And we talk about the same thing with fraudulent immigration consultants and lawyers and on all that stuff and these diploma mills. So this is kind of proof that turning off the taps on immigration directly affects this kind of business model. So second on to that.
Yeah, obviously the bad tier is like they've just offered exit packages to half of its full-time faculty, 373 people, because international enrollment class, like 373. Like, that's not a crazy amount of jobs, but there's hundreds of these colleges and universities that people are going to be losing jobs. And that's where, well, where is your arts degree? Like, where are these people now going to go and work? Like, that's the problem with some of this stuff, is we're now going to have this massive labor force that I don't even know where they're going to go and get jobs now. I mean, Starbucks is cutting work as well. They can't even go work at Starbucks now.
Oh yeah, here in Lower Mainland, I've caught wind that there are several Starbucks locations that are closing, and some of them, like in Vancouver, I see in Victoria and Nanaimo, and I'm like, oh, I know that one. That's close by a SkyTrain. And I was talking with my wife about that in Burnaby. That's like, she said, oh, well, it's across from the SkyTrain, but it's at the SkyTrain. Oh, because someone has to actually cross the street. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, they're closing because of that? I don't know. Like, I know Starbucks is, I don't believe they're public. They're not franchised. They're still privately held. So I don't know. Maybe they're still feeling it on their end themselves.
Yeah, I don't know that. I think it's also like there's less people. Like, I mean, I will say, like, I do go to Starbucks. I try and support our local coffee places. For one, if I don't have time to go to a local place to get out and go through, I do go to the Starbucks drive-through. I like their coffee better than other places. Tim Hortons I used to go to, it's just so crappy now. I can't even drink it. McDonald's is where I would go. It's just not in the right area for me. But I think a lot of people have stopped going there, for one, because it's mainly in the US. So like, there is Canadians that are trying to promote, which is awesome that way. But again, one thing I have a problem with is, like, I mean, Starbucks like is I think like a really nice entry level job entry for people. They treat their employees quite well. They show them like processes of like, how do you actually do stuff properly? I feel like we're going to be missing out on some of that.
Yeah, and that's the problem too. Like, when you're a young person, it was McDonald's, Starbucks, or any food court job at the mall. Talked about this before now. Young people are having a hard time finding those jobs. Unemployment for youth is 14-15%. Yeah, it's just a function of where we are at. When the government let in too many new immigrants, again, we're not pooping on the immigrants. It's just the system is broken, and it created huge imbalances, and it's affecting the local young population. Now, next up here, kind of tagging onto that, our population growth as a country has slowed to just 0.1% in Q2. Surprise, surprise, near zero, as new immigration curbs take into effect. So you see this graph here, we're now in the negative territory, or close to negative, or even close to zero.
And just again, like the problem that there's going to be ramifications from this too. Like, we needed to slow it down. We didn't need to like cut it off instantly. Like, that's where this is where there's going to be
another pendulum. Yep.
Marching just right down. Like, guys, let's try and work in the middle.
Yeah, seems like nothing is ever in balance. It's like, oh, too much, we're gonna turn it off. I mean,
yeah,
I'm guilty. I did say turn it off because it was crazy, but we can see that there will be some like after effects because of it, because now we need a working force, more employment, more demand. It's affecting our housing. Now it's affecting employment, all that stuff. We're just trying to say we need immigration as a sustainable level. Like I've said before, if you're going to build only 250,000 homes a year, then let in 250,000 people, that kind of thing. Have more, sensible immigration. Do you want to talk about the next part?
I mean, this is another 18,000 increase in the asylum claimants in Canada last quarter, now just under 500K total, 1.2% of the population. So that means 1 in every 83 people in the country. Immigrants filing fake asylum claims so that they can stay in Canada, which again, like, it's so sad to see, like, again, like, why our systems work like this. Like, why can we not help the people that really need help? Like, that's, again, there's people that are probably taking abuse of this, where now the ones that actually need help, that really need to come in here because we've turned so much stuff off, well, now they're going to get screwed. That's the problem, is you have a few bad people doing things and it ruins it for every single other person that are really trying to do the right things. That's the same thing we see in the mortgage world. There's people that are doing fake documents that, hey, now every other person gets under scrutiny, what makes it harder for everyone else to now get a mortgage because a couple hundred people were doing bad things.
Yeah, we can see the direct result of immigration being clamped down. So guess what? The asylum claims get rocketed up, and we know that there's not enough resources to fact check all these fake asylum these asylum claims, and like it just basically lumps all the legit people who are here on that want to stay here because of their safety back home. Um, they get lumped into and with the fake ones here. So here is a
Now,
crazy thing.
I want to bring this up here, Alex, about like Mayor Chow in the Vancouver area is saying that she's going to have to increase the taxes, correct? Unless there's more money given to people for the asylum. Like, have you read anything about that?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, which again, like, so obviously the hard thing we have is so all of us have to foot these bills, which is again, I'm fine if Canada came to me and said, Alex, you know what, we're going to take an extra $5,000 for you because hey, we're going to build a full-on city to help these people that have been stuck in Iran, Iraq, Pakistan. Like, give me a reason where this money is going and how it's going to be used properly, not just be like, hey, I'm going to increase the taxes. And really it's probably because they don't have money coming in from real estate. They don't have money coming from other ways, and they got to bring the taxes up. And so they're going to use this as a way to say, oh, you know what? Our city's too full now. We got to increase the taxes.
This is probably more of the federal government rant again. Like, why are we giving 20 billion to Ukraine? Is it 20 billion or whatever that number is? Sure, I understand
No.
it was for foreign aid. Why don't we just limit to like 2 or 3 billion?
Yep.
17 billion in Canada. You know how many hospitals we can build? How many, doctors we can bring in, hire nurses and all that stuff. Our healthcare system is so poor. Yes, we have universal healthcare, but man, I hear people like you go into emergency at like even Vancouver General here. They're sitting and waiting for 4 to 6 hours and no doctor has seen them. It's like
I will say this,
or a representative of our system.
I got an MRI there, Alex, last week. And I got it booked. Like, I hurt myself again in August when I hurt my knee again. And I got it, which is like, that was like insane. I remember back in the day, you had to wait 6 months. I will give the medical system, hey, like they have improved in some areas. I honestly was thinking I was going to have to pay for like a private one just to get it done quick enough. And my doctor's like, no, like it'll probably be like a month. I'm like, really? And so hats off to them that way.
Yeah. I remember when I got an MRI done for my shoulder back in the day, it was a year. And
Yeah.
so, it's basically like it became like, yes, it's essentially socialized healthcare. But yeah, it's just like, can we not direct the funding for foreign aid to like help us back home? Because we really need it. Like, instead of helping others, take care of your own house, federal government. So I'm gonna touch on this thing that is a couple weeks ago now. This is a huge kind of a sting operation by the National Post. They were kind of bringing to light the sprawling online industry of selling fake Canadian visas and human smuggling services. So they uncovered these. There's a smuggling network that brazenly advertise fraudulent Canadian visas at street prices of up to $40,000 and border passage to the States for $4,000. So we'll get our producer to put this up on the YouTube side here. So I'm just going to read this here on one of these Instagram ads here is like, looking for Canadian PR? Now any temporary visa holder can become a permanent resident. Contract marriages available for PR. Boys and girls, anyone can reach us today. DM for more information. So it's become so overt now that they do Instagram ads. And so one of the reporters from the National Post, they speak Punjabi. They were speaking to these people, and they were conversing back and forth, and they were actually setting up some meet and greet where this is going to happen, and a couple guys are going to meet you in a van and pick you up and move you across the border. You pay once you reach the van and all that stuff. So it became so crazy, and it's become, not to say that this part of the problem, but it's kind of a result of this whole immigration thing and how easy it is to come to Canada and all that stuff, that these fraudulent organizations exist.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's just it again. Well, like, why is Facebook and Meta, like, you would think again their AI should be scraping this, and like that this the ads should be turned off, which they do turn some of them, but like let's go to like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Like if someone copies Alex and I's, and we have people that will do fake accounts of us because we do stuff on there, and then they're sending messages to people for crypto investing. We cannot ban them. They will not. Cannot say that these are not real. They're like, oh no, you can't do that. They're it's fine. And then you got this stuff going on. It's like, come on, guys. This is straight illegal. Like how are we allowing it? They're making money on it. These companies, they don't really care.
Yeah, yeah. So this other ad here says, Canada, reach on work permit, fresh case, age 20 to 38. You only need a turban or Sadar. Zero advance payment, flight intake June 25th, and payment on reach. Like you only pay once you've successfully crossed the border. So yeah, it's become quite the network, and it's sad to see. I mean, yeah.
Which, I mean, it's very sad. And obviously some of these ones are definitely more targeting people that are in war-torn countries that, hey, they're scared to walk out of their house. They're scared that their home's going to get bombed. And like, I mean, that is what just makes me so sad, is that there's people that every day, like we're so lucky that we all get to wake up every single morning, even compared to the partners down south with the US. Like, I don't have to think about my kids being shot at a school. I don't have to think about being bombed. Like, we take so much for granted, and then we complain about other things. We're doing it here today. We're complaining about stuff, but there's people that they can't even walk out of their house without being fearful that they're going to die today. Now, those are those people, but then there's also people that are not deserving of being in Canada, which have now messed it up for all these people that deserve to be in Canada.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes, we bitch and complain a lot about what the state of our industry and our economy and our government. But let's just say we are very fortunate to be Canadians, born and raised. We have the benefit to have free speech, to sound off on a podcast that goes into the public. If we did this in China, we'd be shut down and arrested. I tell you that 100%. Right? And there's been people that's been doing that same thing in Hong Kong, being critical about a government official or the economy, and they've been ordered to shut down or threatened with their lives. And so, yes, we are thankful for being able to have this podcast to have free speech and to be able to do those things. Now, are we spitting out libel and slander? No, we're just commenting on the state of the economy, state of our lives, what's going on, how it can get better and such.
Yeah. Now, this is an interesting one. Net mobile phone users has been a good predictor of population growth. And on this chart, we obviously on the YouTube side, you'll see it's gone up, and then it's gone down, down, down. Again, for Q2, we're starting to go up again. But it's just an interesting thing, obviously, because these are postpaid mobile phone customers. Like, they're not people that have the accounts that way.
Yeah, so it's funny. Like, obviously, when you let in new immigrants, temporary foreigners, whatever it is, most people have phones. So I can see how it totally correlates. Like, I have friends in the cell phone industry that their businesses are suffering. Well, guess what? Because the government turned off the taps on immigration, so you don't have any new activations and such. So it's almost like, let's see how the immigration is doing. Let's talk to our buddies in the cell phone industry, how their industry is going. So that's definitely a cool stat here. Now, as much as we talk about it on our soapbox on the pod, it's National Bank CEO has also have kind of sounded off as well on the state of our economy, the government. The National Bank CEO here says, quote, "We need to wake up." And he urges Mark Carney to fight the US with radical tax cuts and deregulation, warning Canada is falling behind in global competitiveness. Now, he's not the only one. We interviewed Brad West several weeks ago saying the same thing. These are bigger people in society than you and I. All people are created equal, I like to say, but in terms of global standing kind of thing. These are bigger people than you and I, and we talk about it. And for them to say it, we're not spewing out BS here, right? We're calling it as it is, and at least they're able to speak up about it. This whatever's happening right now, it needs to get better. So, liberal government, wake the F up.
Now this is an interesting one. We're getting a little bit more information about the iPro Realty, the trust account where they stole millions of dollars from people. Supposedly it was helped to pay for waterfront property. What their lawsuit is alleging. A statement of claim alleges a portion of the funds was used for a significant renovation to a waterfront property owned by the firm co-founder's wife. Like, again, like, this should be done. You're in jail. You're fined. Like, it's just such a easy cut and dry thing. It's like, ooh, I didn't accidentally just take this money out. Oh crap, sorry, I thought that was my bank account, not the trust account. It's like, hey, you took money, you used it, it was not your money.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it all along. White collar crime laws in Canada need to stiffen up. Now, back in the Bernie Madoff, the whole he went to prison in the States, right, for his whole like fraud schemes and all that stuff.
I remember the name, but no, I can't say for sure exactly what you're talking about there, Al.
Okay, or the Ponzi schemes and all that stuff. In the States, you go to prison for white collar crime. In Canada, you get slap on the wrist, you get assets seized, and whatever.
Go back to the financial crisis, 2008, 2009. What, I think 2 people went to jail. I mean, hundreds were all in on it, and nothing happened. That's it. Yeah. I mean, white collar crime is, again, they have money to fight these things. They have lawyers so they can fight this stuff, which is like, again, the problem that I sometimes have with the legal system is if there's precedent, well, hey, you can't even fight it. Even if you know in your heart that it is wrong, there's precedent set and you can get off free and clear. And we kind of talked about that with stuff that's going on with fee simple land here, with the Indigenous rights here in Canada. That's just a scary thing. If we let precedent happen in certain things, well, we've now lost all control.
Yeah. I mean, the story doesn't end there. There's another story that came about. The Hamptons of Canada, they've been ensnared in an alleged fraud, mortgage fraud scheme, like a Ponzi scheme. So there was a Toronto businessman. He was accused of using community connections to sell investments in Lake Country mortgages and misappropriating the money. And it was involved in the Jewish community. So raising money within the Jewish community. His father started the business before, legitimately raising funds, doing homes. And when everyone was making money, it was fine. When people were making 10% and they were getting dividend payments every month, it was fine. Well, the market turned and things dried up. Those investors still wanted the returns. And so this person was taking money from new investors and paying out the old ones. And now $100 million in investor fund disappears. I mean, there's going to be more and more stories of this popping up. And man, it's like something needs to change. Our white collar crime laws need to stiffen up. For sure.
And I mean, some things that they're changing is they're making people that are doing like these private mortgages, the investment companies, like they're getting tracked much harder. But again, all that means is it also makes it harder for all of us to do our normal day business. We're all not doing things wrong here, but now we have to get 10 new documents that maybe we didn't need before. And that's where they are, you could say that they're learning from their mistakes of like, well, how did this person just walk away with 100 million and only find out now? It's like, hey, you have to be doing monthly statements showing the trust accounts. Like, they're trying to do things, but it's like, come on, this person's probably already gone from Canada. That money's not coming back. Like, this needs to be tracked faster.
Yeah, 100%. And like, especially in our industry now, like in our end for me and Alex, we have so much compliance now, so many checks and balances. It's become it's so much paperwork, even compared to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago when I first started. It's so much more like stuff. And guess what? Is it going to stop the fraud? No. The fraud's always ahead of the law, and they're going to figure out new ways to do things. So, I mean, we need to...
Going back, I want to actually talk about fraud and talk about OSFI. We screamed for the rooftop for the last years of like, hey, let's make sure we can have direct access to CRA. it's tabled. They're not even going to talk about it anymore. Like, it's not something that's going to get approved right now. It's like, are you freaking serious? This is the easiest thing ever to do. Have it so we can see specific lines, automatically comes from CRA, auto approve for the income. It is honestly the most basic thing that they could probably allow. It's done in the US, no questions. All the income gets verified in the US from the from their taxes. Why can't we do it here?
Yeah, that would instantly kill mortgage fraud, essentially.
It, I get the tinfoil hat here, Alex, is that the banks are pushing against it because they don't want it, because they do know that a lot of their mortgages probably do come from the mortgage fraud scenario, and even the governor is making money on it. So like, I put the tinfoil hat on in that scenario. I hope that's not why. I think it's just maybe laziness and they don't want to change their systems, hopefully. But it's something that should be very easy. We used to be able to pull the tax documents for people. We could request it. Again, as long as you're getting a signed agreement from the client saying, hey, yes, I agree with Alex and Alex going and pulling your tax documents. I want to see where those come from. I don't know, like if it came from Bob the builder. I don't know where those tax documents are coming from.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we need to keep pushing this. Like I have to give all the credit to Ron Butler, who's been spearheading this industry titan. We got to join in and keep the fight. Like let's not give up. Like it's great that they had the consultation. It was nearing the surface, but then it's stuck. So we need to. It's going to be a long fight, but we need to win this war here. So we're going to move on into some U.S. news that's pertinent to us. Recently, Trump has cracked down on H-1B visas, and that's basically similar to work visas in the States. And he is adding on a new $100,000 fee on H-1B visas on his latest crackdown. So I have some friends who are in the States working as well. So I was talking to him like, shoot, is this going to affect you? And he's like, yeah, it will affect me. But there was some clarification that's existing people already working in the States have work visas. They're going to be grandfathered in. It's only new visas moving forward. So essentially, this could be a huge opportunity for Canada. People diverting and not going to the States and coming to Canada, as long as our government doesn't mess it up and we invite skilled workers into Canada.
That's where we're not smart. We're not smart enough for that. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah. Especially for tech and business innovation. I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, we always say to our kids, you can lead a horse to water, but what's the saying? You can't make him drink.
Yeah, and that's it. I don't know there. And we'll jump into some more tariff stuff here. Because are you trying to buy or remodel a house? Do you need to buy or replace furniture? It's all about to become more expensive. And this is where, again, yes, our inflation has been good right now. We're at a nice target, but inflation is going to get more as we just increase these tariffs. Again, we're not paying them. Like, it doesn't affect ours, but people are going to not buy in Canada, not buy Canadian products. And so we're just going to not have any market there. And so what the big Donald J. Trump is saying is we're going to imposing a 50% tariff on all kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, associated products starting October 1st. Additionally, we will be charging a 30% tariff on upholstered furniture. The reason for this is the large-scale flooding of products into the United States by other outside countries. It is a very unfair practice, but we must protect the national security and other reasons. Our manufacturing process. Thank you for attention to this matter. It's like, come on, man. You guys made China into what it is. Like, don't try and say that China's been taking abuse of, like, it's like you guys did that. You shipped all your manufacturing over. Like, let's take some actual accountability and be like, ooh, shit, we caused this problem.
Yeah. This is all song and dance. And, speaking of Trump there, he shut government down. So today we're recording a little bit earlier on October 1st. Yesterday on Truth and Reconciliation Day in Canada. So, we found through social that he shut government down after Congress has failed to pass a bill to keep federal funding flowing. So the whole backstory behind this.
Yeah, is that Trump doing that? I think that's just like how their government system works. Like if they can't agree on stuff, like they shut down that way. Because I think that also happened last year too, almost like when they were trying to get their budget approved and stuff. I don't know if that's a specific Trump thing. I'll not poo poo on him for that. I think that's just how their like democratic system works.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just reading here what I got on social here. He is refusing to negotiate with the Democrats on healthcare. So, I mean, the fallout of this is hundreds of thousands of workers are going to be sent home without pay, and a wide range of federal programs will be disrupted. So, for how long, who knows? Um, you know, that's just weird things happening in the States. Things are happening in Canada. Apparently, things are happening in the States as well. Alex and I are going to be meeting up for some industry events on Friday. I have something tomorrow as well. So him and I are the few times a year that Alex comes into the Lower Mainland. So we're going to meet up and we'll do some mastermind stuff and plan for our businesses and plan for the pod. And yeah, it'll be good to meet up. So any closing thoughts, Mr. Shanks?
I mean, I'm just prepared that's going to turn into Prague. I think it's an 18-hour day again because I'm catching the Hello ferry over at 7 in the morning, and then I'm catching it back at 11. So it's gonna be a busy day.
Folks, remember I said about living in a cheaper place? It's not what it's all cracked up to be, especially if you don't live in a main city. You have to travel in and all that stuff. So just understand that. Alex firsthand, okay? I jest. I love you, man. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. On behalf of Alex Shanks, I'm Alex Pang. We will see you next time.
Now, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to follow us. Please give us a 5-star rating. You can even send us an email because we want to know what you guys want to hear about. That's what we're here for. Reach out anytime.